Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Saturday to you and your family. Taking a look here again at PEPE, seeing what's going on, if it's going to continue further. I get that question a lot, or if it's going to pull back. Well, there's a stronger likelihood we're going to see the price action continue in the overall sense of things, but we may experience pullback first to retest that recent support or that previous resistance level, turn support, right? So we're going to look at that much more. So if you're new to the channel, really appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, follow, do us a favor, help us out here. That wonderful YouTube algorithm. If you want to send us a follow or a like over here on Cash Trading at Twitter, greatly appreciate that as well. So what we want to look at to quickly preface, and then we'll jump into some cool details. And actually I got some bonus content for you for some really cool things we've done here as a community. Taking a look though at the current situation at hand, right? So we got this descending trend. Price action couldn't establish higher highs, okay? Difficult time the whole way through. Once it broke through this higher highs, it then took 3 days to retest this consistent resistance level, which is 0.236 on Fibonacci, roughly 125,000. Then it broke through and hasn't looked back ever since. So we're going to talk about what that means and how to identify breakouts. That's typically what I like to look for, and that's why we've done very well with a lot of our swing trades here recently. As a matter of fact, we took some healthy profits from APE in roughly a day and a half. I was sleeping when this took place. Love automated trades. 33% in that time frame. Also took some healthy profits there from dusk at roughly about 10 hours. Now those trades are still open, but we've taken a majority of profits already and letting the rest ride. And again, a lot of our members are doing the same thing too, where they're taking some healthy profits and letting the rest ride. Okay, so again, that's kind of a good thing that we do in our community there. Make sure that you understand specifically that it's important to take profits when you can, and obviously just let a little bit continue. Like this one, I'm pretty sure he took 80-90% at a lower price point, and he's letting the rest continue to get that extra little padding on the the portfolio. So nobody hates that, right? Anyways, cool stuff there. Again, congrats again to our community members for some awesome profits here recently. Definitely more to come. We've got some triggers that are super close right now for a lot of our swing trades that are open. Okay, all right. So what we want to talk about here is the big picture. So we got stochastic kind of telling us that we've been upswinging for a few days and there might be a potential turnaround. Now, as I've always tried to teach and educate here, it's important to recognize that when you are above 50 in the RSI and the stochastic is swinging up like this, there's a good chance it'll stay that way for a little while before it shifts in momentum, right? So if you look previously, anytime you see stochastic first converge, it doesn't always just rip the price in the opposite direction. Okay? It'll continue, as you can see, for a very long time. So try not to buy into stochastic kind of giving us the indication of a divergence here. The first one is never truly the most important. What's key here is that we broke through 50 on the RSI, and that put us through this resistance level at about 125. So we can expect 125,000 to be the new support. That's roughly what that looks like. Okay. Also, too, this little green box up here, in case you're curious, that is our volume resistance level, or previous support, essentially. If we take a look at our volume profile, we can see, kind of hard to see with all the stuff on the charts, I apologize, but mostly accumulated volume right there about 155,000. Okay, so we're halfway to that level. Keep in mind when we hit that range, we might have some strong resistance, and that'll be an area in which we need to kind of pay attention to. Okay. Again, just some food for thought. We also have a strong support level there at about, well, I'm just going to round up and say about 10 or 100,000 there, right there at 100 roughly. Okay, so again, some cool stuff there, right in the range, and generally speaking, we could be range bound for a little while. It's best to expect that, but this ascending trend is looking nice. Last but not least, take a quick look at the moving averages. We can see up over the 20, which is important because again, that's the trend setter. The 20-day SMA works concurrent with the trend line in most cases. So now that we're above that, we've broken the descending trend officially. Okay. We also can see here that we have this previous support turned resistance, turned support, and effectively allowed us to break through that level. And that's usually what happens. Typically, there's a short squeeze that occurs, but a lot of shorts are hedged right here, and then they hedge their shorts with some longs, and the price shoots up. Okay, so again, pretty standard stuff here, but keep in mind the 20-day SMA, correction, that's a 50-day simple moving average, is hanging out right there at that resistance there at about 145, 150. Okay, so something to recognize there. Good profits should be taken before you hit that level. Taking a look at the 4-hour, what we want to recognize here is a few key factors. We're above both moving averages, but we're rejecting by the 200-day SMA. Rejection at the 200 SMA is a pretty firm indication letting us know that the price action could pull back at that level. And once again, we're slightly overextended leading into it. It's not that big of a deal because, again, we got a lot of consolidation here. But nonetheless, we're seeing the volume start to dissipate a little bit as we come down here, right? So again, this candlestick, we've got about 2 hours left, and we're halfway up. Technically, the volume hasn't dissipated all that much. We've actually seen the same amount of volume this whole time. So forget what I said about that, but the bottom line is when you see the volume start to dissipate, that's when you want to recognize that the price could pull back. But the key takeaway here is that we're hitting that 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level of about 137. And that could be a point of contention. We are also rejecting out here roughly at 70 on the RSI. So in order for us to break through this trend, we need to essentially see a lot more volume come into this coin. All right, so again, all good stuff here, converging on the MACD. We're starting to lose a little momentum here, but bottom line is that we're looking pretty decent and overall prime for the picking here. So again, I'm not saying to go necessarily long right now at this point, but I am a little more long biased than short biased as far as the price likely continuing higher on the macro than the price continuing lower on the macro. Okay. Now, as far as the micro is concerned, or shorter time frames here, first of all, really quick, let's just note here, T sequential, we're at a 5. We've been running for about 20 hours in the same direction. We take a look at the 1 hour, we can see that we hit an overextended state here, and there's that little short squeeze. What do you know? Right there at the previous resistance level, now that is going to turn support. Okay, so again, we can kind of see this line in the sand here. Pretty obvious. The price comes up, gets rejected, tries 2, almost 3, and on the 4th time, breaks right straight through. Okay, so again, that's kind of a common reoccurrence that you'll see in trading. It's like kind of just pounding a door in. Eventually, the door is going to break. Obviously, it depends on the quality of the door. It's where volume comes into play. But with enough volume, you can just ram that door through and effectively smash it open. And that's what happened there. The price shot up here. Shorts got squeezed out. Price shoots up. They open longs. And now we're right where we're at here. Okay, so again, mostly looking good here. This is a very healthy pendant pattern here as well. So for the most part, we have more likelihood of the price continuing higher from here because of that. Again, this is the hourly. This is not a definitive larger time frame, because the larger the time frame, the more beneficial, or I guess you could say specific, those kind of indications can get. So if you have candlestick patterns or playout charts, then those are going to be situations that they'll be more likely to if it's a larger time frame. Hourly, it's 50-50, and that breakout will occur, but it's definitely looking better. We've overextended, but we've been consolidating for about 8 to 10 hours there, and that's a really good sign. So to me, if the price does pull back, we'll see probably a bounce here off this most recent resistance at 128 and higher. If the price doesn't pull back, we're going to see something along the lines of further continuation upwards. Either way you look at it, the likelihood of the price continuing upwards is greater. So whether you get it now or later is up to you. So to me, an entry on Pepe roughly at about 129, 130 might seem appropriate. So I'm going to go ahead and set my alert there and just go ahead and see if I can get notified later to take another look at this if the price pulls back to that level. I'd much rather buy a dip like that than buy it when it's overextended, especially leading into a key level resistance. Once again, 0.382 can provide a lot of resistance on Fibonacci. Let's see if there's any Elliott wave here, kind of showing us that we do have potential for pullback. Once again, we could see the ABC pattern, so the price could pull back down and continue to this lowest point. We'd be able to see if we hit this level, so I'm speculating we're going to see a pretty strong amount of support at 128/130. That's where my money's at right there, is 128, 130,000 range. Okay, so again, hopefully that made sense on how I described this. I'll send out a potential playout chart. I send this all the time through my Twitter. They look a little something like this, kind of like this here, where I kind of summarize what I learned in the video, just so you can quickly analyze that. So again, be sure to check that out. That's on our cash trading on Twitter. We also have a Telegram that's very similar in that sense. I send out all these updates to both those areas because some people prefer Telegram over Twitter. And then, of course, we obviously have a Discord where we have a lot of different layout charts here as well. So again, all different ways, all paths lead to Rome, right? So again, the whole concept here is to keep you well informed. So be sure to check that out for some technical and fundamental data. Greatly appreciate the like, follow, subscribe. If you want to also let me know what you're up to this weekend, happy to hear it. I am planning to get some pool time in here soon with my dog and my family. And then, of course, probably dinner with the old lady. So I hope that you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks again for your time. Take care.